but that smoke flavor is coming in. Woo! It's all up in there, you know what I'm saying? Hey there, folks. Welcome to the channel. I'm glad you could make it because in today's episode, I would just start off by saying I've been wanting to do this for a very long time. I don't know why I hadn't done it yet, but we are doing it today because in today's episode, we are making smoked barbecue burgers, and coincidentally, I did not plan this. Coincidentally, it's barbecue day. So fire up those smokers, fire up those pits, and let's make some smoked barbecue burgers, shall we? Let's talk about meat selection. For today's smoked burger, we're going to be using a combination of cuts, but at the end of the day, this is a personal preference. You can use whatever you want. This is the flat on the brisket. We also have the point. I've got some chuck rib. This is the eye of round. And so anyway, we're going to be taking all of this meat, and I'm going to add a little fat to it as well. The beef is 100% grass-fed and incredibly lean, so we're going to add the necessary amount of fat to this burger. We're adding about 25%. All we're going to do is cut this up into pieces that are small enough to fit into the throat of our grinder, both the meat and fat. And once we're done, we're going to take all of that and stick it into our chiller, our freezer, to bring that temp down to 32, 34 Fahrenheit. That'll just give us a much cleaner grind and a better burger. I feel like it's worth mentioning that the way we normally do this is on our second grind. No, I'm just showing you footage from a different video. But on our second grind, we put a stuffing horn at the end of the grinder. And as we're grinding it, we're actually stuffing it into a 100mm casing. And the reason we do that is so that the grain of the meat is vertical, and when we go to cut our patties, we're cutting it horizontally, in essence, cutting against the grain. So you get a very, very tender bite. But I realize that not everyone has that capability, so I'm going to show you an easier way where you just portion out the ground meat. So what we're going to do is a double grind. Now, if you don't have a grinder, you can go to the store and get 80/20 from your butcher, and that will be fine. I am going to do a 10mm grind, and then we're going to come back and do a 6mm grind. Let's make that happen. These burger patties are going to be 6 ounces, and when it comes to smoked burgers, bigger is better. You want it to cook nice and slow, so you don't want it too thin. So anything between 6 and 8 ounce works. I did get my hands on this nifty little device from the sausage maker. This is a burger press, fairly inexpensive. And what we're going to do is we're just going to set it to the size height that we want our burger to be. You might have to play with it a little bit until you get to the size you want, but in essence, ours is going to be 3/4 of an inch thick, just like that. I think they sell paper that you could put on the top and the bottom, but I just used wax paper. I had some. We're going to give it a quick little press, and boom, there we go. Our burger patty is formed. Absolutely perfect. I found this unit to be a lot heavier duty than some of the other Chinese-made burger presses that are on the market, and it produces nice, consistent, uniform burger patties. Excellent. All right, so we're going to knock out a couple of those, and this next step is as important as the first. This is all about flavor. We're going to be seasoning our burger with a little Worcestershire sauce. We're also going to be adding an incredible flavor enhancer. This is fish sauce. More common in Southeast Asia, but in small quantities, it just makes whatever you're adding it to pop. Your chili, and in this case, our hamburgers. And we're going to mix this together in a small bowl. So I'm adding 1 quart of Worcestershire sauce. And to that bowl, we're going to be adding 2 tablespoons of fish sauce, just like that. And then finally, we have one more ingredient we're going to add. We're going to be adding a couple tablespoons of Dijon mustard. So what we're making here, in essence, is a beautiful marinade that our burger is going to soak up. So we're going to give that a whisk till everything's well incorporated, and then I'm just going to pour what I can into like a squeeze bottle. This marinade is going to add so much flavor, so much umami to our burger, and it's going to pair perfectly with that rich, beefy, smoky burger that we're going to be making. Let's look at the spices. Okay, we're going to start off with a little salt. I'm adding 1 teaspoon for every pound of beef. That's kosher salt. Next, we're going to add a little black pepper, 1/2 teaspoon for every pound of beef. Next up, we're also going to come back with some granulated garlic at 1/4 teaspoon per pound of beef, and some onion powder, 1/4 teaspoon per pound of beef. Next ingredient is a little mustard powder at 1/8 of a teaspoon per pound of beef. And our final ingredient, this is the kicker. Some of you already have it. This is SALAMI. We're adding 1 teaspoon for every pound of beef. This is an umami powerhouse flavor enhancer. My SALAMI has 1 ingredient, that's yeast extract, and just delivers savory, beefy, umami, brothy notes. You could literally put it on whatever you want, and it'll make it taste better. So I'm just going to give those spices a whisk to make sure everything's well incorporated. And this is the spice mix that we're going to be using on our hamburger. I'm going to put this into a shaker to make it easier to get onto our burgers. Speaking of burgers, let's take a look at the first tray. I've got about 110 patties we're going to be doing today, and the process is the exact same, so I'm just going to show you with this one tray. And as you can tell, we're only going to be seasoning the burger on the exterior, both the top and the bottom. Now, everybody does it a little bit differently. Personally, I think if you're going to be adding eggs and binders and, liquid to the inside of your burger, you now have a Salisbury steak or you have a meatloaf, and it's a completely different experience. So we don't add anything to the inside of the burger. We only add to the outside. But if you want to mix up all these ingredients inside the burger, the choice is yours. I will say, though, that it will produce a slightly different hamburger. The texture will be different if you add the salt and the spices inside with the meat. Anyway, that's a topic for a later video. Right here on top of the burgers, we're going to put some of our spice blend. Just a nice, even coating. Nothing too heavy. All right, so we've got the first layer down. Now it's time to do the other side. So we're just going to repeat the process. We're going to add some of our sauce. And I'm probably adding a total of maybe 1.5, 2 teaspoons of that sauce per side. And then I'm just going to rub it in. This is going to soak into the burger, give it beautiful flavor, help retain some of that juiciness, which is super important when you're making smoked burgers because they can very easily dry out. Final step is the seasoning. Once again, nice even layer right on top. And now we're going to let them rest in the refrigerator for 5-10 minutes. This will cool down the patty and give that beef an opportunity to soak up the marinade and the spices. We're going to smoke these burgers 2 ways so that we can get the best flavor possible. We're going to start this process with our digital smoker. This is the number 4 Smokin-It smoker with convection. And what I love about this method, and we've smoked burgers lots of different ways, is that this smoker allows you to really hold and maintain really low temps. We're going to fire up the cold smoke generator to bring a nice and easy low and slow smoke. The tricky part when it comes to smoked burgers is finding the right balance of smoke. You want to smoke your burger just enough to bring that smoky flavor, but not overwhelm the burger. An over-smoked burger is acrid and bitter and just not pleasant at all. Here at the top, I've got a temperature probe that's monitoring the temperature of our burgers, and I'm not really worried about overcooking. I just want to monitor the temperature rise during this first step. And the smoker itself is set to 175 degrees Fahrenheit. So this is going to smoke at a very low temperature for about 30 minutes. The wood that I'm using in this first step is hickory and pecan, but you could use whatever favorite smoke wood you have. This is a convection smoker, and notice right here the convection is turned off for this first step of smoking our burgers. So while that's doing what it's doing, let me show you the next step of our smoked burgers. We're going to finish these. So this is kind of like a, I guess you could call it like a reverse sear on the pit. Get the pit fired up, and we're going to go ahead and pull our burgers. So our burgers have been in here for about 30 minutes. They look absolutely perfect. Time to finish these up on the pit. Now for the wood that we're going to be using on this last step, this is white American oak Jack Daniel's soaked chips and staves, and this has been soaking in cool water for about 6 or 7 hours. This is going to bring a completely different flavor to our smoked burgers. I mean, not only are we going to add that extra white American oak, element to it, but the grill itself is going to bring that barbecue style finish. It's going to be great. This is the finishing process for our smoked burgers. So the temperature of our grill is going to be a little bit hotter because we are cooking these to completion, but I don't want it too hot. I'm going to keep it at around 250. These are going to smoke in here for about 10 minutes, 15 minutes. As far as the vents go, we're going to close the top and bottom vent to where we only have a small opening. That's going to help us maintain that lower temperature, but at the same time, get that nice smoky flavor. And when it comes to these burgers, I only flip them once, so I don't like to open and close the pit through the cooking process, and that way we just trap in as much smoke as possible. I like to pull the burgers at about 130 Fahrenheit, and then let them rest. That resting period is going to increase that temperature to a medium rare. Now, if you prefer your burgers a little more well done, you can leave them on the pit a little bit longer. And just so you know, these burgers freeze great. So if you happen to make a lot, like in this case, we're making 50 pounds, we're going to freeze some, put them in vacuum sealed bags, and the next time we want smoked burgers, all we have to do is heat them up. They're going to be absolutely amazing. Look at this. Incredibly juicy. They smell amazing. All right, Our smoked burger is finished. Let's set this to the side while we get the rest of our ingredients together. We're going to make some buns. We're going to start with some water, yeast, a little salt, a little sugar. We're going to add an egg, some flour, and some room temperature butter. And I'm just going to knead that until we form a ball that is nice and springy, a little smooth. Then we're going to place this in a greased bowl, cover it, and let it double in size. Next, we punch down the dough and form our balls. And what I like to do here is just fold everything to one side, kind of like you're making a dumpling. Give it a little pinch, just like that. And I'm not flouring the table. I want to use the friction of the table to roll the dough. So with the palm of my hand, roll it around. And the part that has the seam or the crease underneath, we're just going to put that face down onto a baking sheet. All right, so we're going to do that for all of them. And I normally like to make the size of the balls about 90 grams, 90, 95 grams. But it's really up to you. If you want your buns to be a little bigger, a little smaller, then you can certainly play with the size. Once we put those onto our baking sheet, we're going to flatten them down. I want 3-inch discs. That's basically what it's going to look like. And once we do that, we are going to cover that once again. And if you put a little cooking spray on your cover, it'll keep it from sticking as they rise a little bit. But we're going to let that rise for about 20 minutes. It really comes down to the temperature in your kitchen. Very hot kitchens, you might only need to let it rise for about 15 minutes. Right here, I'm going to be putting an egg wash. That's basically 1 tablespoon of water with 1 large egg. Nice little whisk. And that's going to give us the beautiful color that we're looking for these buns. But it's also going to act like a glue for our sesame seeds. Once again, sesame seeds are completely optional. Into the oven they go. 375 degrees Fahrenheit. And we're going to bake these for roughly 16 minutes, 16 to 18 minutes. There we go. Oh, that's absolutely beautiful. Okay, so this is exactly what we're supposed to be looking at right now. Beautiful looking buns. We're not done. Once they come out of the oven and while they're still hot, we're going to take some freshly melted butter. The butter is a bit warm. And we are going to coat those buns just like that. And that's going to help soften them a little bit, give them a beautiful buttery flavor. Look at that. Absolutely amazing, beautiful ingredients. All right, we need to talk about the bacon. And for this particular style of smoked burger, we're going to add a bacon weave. So that's going to deliver maximum bacon in every single bite. And this is what our bacon weave is going to look like. Notice I did square it off right here. And all those little pieces that I cut, we're going to put them on the side. Not a big deal. I'm going to top that with a baking sheet. And into the oven it goes, 450 degrees Fahrenheit until it's done. So depending on how crispy you like it, I like mine pretty crispy. So 45 minutes in the oven, give or take. Now we need to very thinly slice our onions. We're going to be caramelizing our onions. And the thinner that you can slice them, the better. So we're busting out the mandolin for this project. Great for potatoes au gratin or sauerkraut. Certainly makes quick work of slicing these onions. Now that they're done, we're going to take these and stick them onto a skillet. We've got a medium heat on the skillet, and we're going to add some beef tallow. Love beef tallow. You could use lard if you want to use lard. We have both, but I prefer beef tallow in this situation. A little bit of salt to sweat the onions. We're going to start on a medium heat to soften the onions, and then I'm going to reduce the heat down to more like a medium-low. Low and slow, that's the name of the game when it comes to browning and caramelizing onions. We're going to stir occasionally so that everything browns evenly. And you're just going to cook this until you get to the desired color. Now, you could take this to a rich, dark caramel. I like this stage right here. It took about 30 to 40 minutes to get to this stage. We're going to add some bourbon at this point and cook it off. And all I want to do is cook off the alcohol. I'm looking for that smoky, oaky, vanilla, biscuity, all those wonderful flavors that bourbon has. We're going to impart that onto the onions. That's going to be beautiful on our smoked burger. And once you cook off the alcohol, you are done. We can now set this to the side because I think our bacon's ready. And our kitchen right now smells incredible. Let's see what the bacon looks like. Oh yeah, that's great. Perfect bacon weave. I'm going to cut that into quarters. And this bacon fat right here, we're not going to throw that away. I'm going to show you how we're going to use that bacon fat here in just 1 minute. It's going to add a whole nother layer of flavor, and that's what we're all about. Next up, we're going to open the smoker back up because I've got Gouda and American cheese. We're going to give that a quick smoke, both with hickory and pecan wood. These only needed to smoke for about 5 minutes. Now, we're going to top our burger with the bourbon onions. I want to get a nice, generous portion. Delicious flavor here. Next up, our smoked Gouda, and then our smoked American cheese, and into the oven it goes. While that's melting, we're going to take some of the rendered bacon fat, put it on a griddle, and toast our hamburger buns. This is going to give our buns a beautiful, rich, smoky, full-body flavor. It's going to be great. These look absolutely gorgeous. All right, let's build a burger. We're going to start with our Dijon mustard, top and bottom. Next up, bacon weave, and of course, our cheesy bourbon onion smoked burger, and that's it. Very simple. absolutely gorgeous looking burger. It smells incredible. Let's give it a quick slice. Take a peek inside. Here we go. Oh, that looks great. Nice and juicy. Oof. Very good. Let's give it a bite. Moment of truth. Oh, wow, that smells good. Incredibly juicy. Before we dive into this, though, I think we need to tap into some home brew. We have been brewing a pale ale about 3 weeks now. It just finished, and we're going to pour ourselves a pint to enjoy with our burger. Let's do it. This is a home brewing device known as the iGulu, and it makes brewing your very own craft beer at home ridiculously easy. We'll get into it in a different video. Okay, we've got our pale ale, absolutely beautiful looking brew there. Our smoked burger, let's just get into it and see how it came out. Wow, that's out of control. So many different layers of flavor going on in this burger. The burger is juicy and tender, and just the meat by itself is perfectly seasoned. It's smoky without being overwhelming. Oh, that's nice. That's the first time I'm tasting it. Ooh, we're gonna have to make more of that. Now that this is finished, we'll bottle it up and free up the homebrew again and make maybe like an English porter or something like that, or maybe a lager. I think that'd be great. I gotta get another bite of this. That bacon, bourbon onion just adds so much. Wow, that's good. Cheers. Smooth. Wow, what a pair. Smoked burgers, delicious. If you have any questions about this recipe, let me know in the comment section below. You know, we added the bourbon onion and the bacon, kept it pretty simple, smoked cheese. I'd love to hear how you build your perfect smoked burger. Avocados, eggs, lettuce, tomatoes, red onions. Drop me a comment in the comment section below. If you're new to this channel and you enjoyed today's video, be sure to hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so you can be notified of all of our future uploads. And if you want any information on the Smokin-It smoke, I'll put a link to Smokin-It in the description box below. Matter of fact, I think they even have a 4th of July sale where they're giving away all kinds of cold smoke generators and mats and lids and all kinds of really great stuff. All the details will be in the description box below. In the event that you're in the market for a top-of-the-line digital convection smoker, absolutely amazing. All right, folks, thanks a lot for being here. We'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.